Just an absolutely spectacular day for Major League Baseball at 35th and Shields. The sun is out. There is literally not a cloud in the sky. It's the Sox and Angels in the all rubber match. Sox are 11.5 up on the Indians. Cleveland looks at a Sox magic number that is 7 right now. So it combines 7 wins, 7 losses. Sox and Indians gets you to the postseason. And the Sox are still hopeful that they might be able to chase down the Houston Astros for second place in the American League and home field advantage in the old division series. On the mound today, Alex Cobb is back for the Angels, and he will face Reynaldo Lopez, who has just been spectacular for the Sox out of the bullpen in a starting position as well. He is a variable that does well anywhere, just like Len Casper. Hi, Len.
Great segue. Beautiful day, as you said. Chance to get the magic number down to 6. And if that's the case, the White Sox could clinch as early as Sunday.
Could be in Texas. The greatest part about this team for me is that literally everybody has had a big moment.
They have, and you always rely on your superstars, whether it's the pitching staff or the position players. But as you see here, the game-winning RBIs have been spread around. I took a look at the league splits in terms of batting position. For the Chicago White Sox, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the batting order. Team OPS is above league average. So it's not just Jose Abreu in that 3 spot, but it's been the guys near the bottom of the order who've come up with a lot of big hits.
And you see it's a grand total of 17 guys with a game-winning run driven in this year for this Sox team. 83-62 is the record, and in part because of Lopey. He's on the bump, and this is a bump in TV parlance. So honestly, I don't even know if we're going to come back. It was so perfect. First pitch just around the corner.
Hey Al, I'm just wondering, during the demo on MLB Tonight, what was that meatball you threw?
Meatball? I think you're misunderstanding. That was a hitting demonstration, and that's what I was supposed to do.
Oh, he got home, baby.
Right. I think that ball's still traveling. Any farther, and you need a flight plan for it.
Next question.
The Analyst of MLB Tonight, answering baseball's toughest questions, only on MLB Network.
Let's go. Playing in October, that's really what it's all about. What keeps that fire burning? The Sox are coming for you. Let's get it. I'm Tim Madison of the Chicago White Sox, and my dream lives here on MLB Network.
Everywhere you go, everything you do, you can always take the game with you. And you can bring your friends.
Is brought to you in part by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Choose Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, the card to carry through it all. Ford, your local Ford dealers remind you to get out there and find your wild in America's original sports utility vehicle, Ford Bronco. The one and only legend has returned. Xfinity Mobile. Get nationwide 5G on the fastest, most reliable network, only with Xfinity Mobile. And by Wintrust, home of White Sox checking. Visit wintrust.com/Sox to open today.
You know, you look at his numbers in AAA Charlotte. Reynaldo Lopez was a bit of a curious call-up when he got here, but boy, has he landed very softly in the White Sox rotation now in a 6-man rotation, but also in the bullpen.
Yeah, he's going to be a big part of this staff in one way or the other, assuming the White Sox can get to October. But you go back to the start of spring training, he was ostensibly in a battle for the 5th spot with Carlos Rodon. That competition ended very quickly. As you said, Lopez struggled mightily at AAA. He has saved his best pitching for here at the big league level. And you see how doers get more done. Brought to you by Home Depot, getting more done. And in his starts, his ERA is 3. He's actually, Jason, been better in relief, but whatever role he's been in, he's been really good at home, and hopefully that bodes well this afternoon.
It's a great day for it. And by the way, Home Depot's got to be very happy because that was a do-it-yourself read as well. It's like you went to Home Depot to get the car.
There was no read. That was a total ad-lib.
DIY stuff on a Thursday afternoon. Matinee baseball. We will accent your weekend with Game 3 of the Sox and Angels when we come back. All of us and all of you.
Hey, Harold, how do you prepare for a big show?
Well, I just try to stay positive. Take it one show at a time and treat it just like any other show.
How do you feel about the other analysts you work with?
It's a great group of guys. We're all on the same page. I'm just happy to be here.
What's your prediction for the season?
We'll see what happens. It all comes down to execution in the studio.
The pro player answers. He's still got it.
The Analyst of MLB Tonight, answering baseball's toughest questions on MLB Network.
Closing out games in October for the Brew Crew is my focus, and I'll keep pushing to make it happen. I'm Josh Hader of the Milwaukee Brewers, and my dream lives here on MLB Network.
Push it down the third base line and end up at first base.
Relax and watch High Heat with Christopher Russo, only on MLB Network.
Get your game face on. Sox and Angels, game number 3 of a 3-game series. And here comes Luis Robert out to the field with his friends and cronies, the White Sox, who are in first place in the American League Central. And it is our pleasure to bring you baseball on this lovely Thursday. This is one of those days where when it's winter, please close your eyes and store this somewhere because you will want to remember the day like today. If we had a day to give to you, it would be a day just like today. The Insure on the Spot starting lineup. Get your free auto insurance quote and save in just 2 minutes at insureonthespot.com. This is batting average on balls in play. Brandon Marsh with a huge BABIP this year at .455. Sometimes it indicates fortune. Sometimes it indicates you hit the ball real hard. And that's the case for Jared Walsh in the 5 spot. You see David Fletcher, who puts the ball in play a lot, as detailed last night, Len, and they will face this guy we talked about.
Reynaldo Lopez. Those numbers at AAA we mentioned earlier, 10 starts is 7.62, but an earned run average of just over 2. here at the big league level. 17th appearance and his 7th start. Stuff always good with the four-seam fastball, the slider, and the occasional curveball and changeup. He's working with Zach Collins today as we check out our UI Health defense. In the outfield, Jimenez back out there in left, Robert in center, Garcia is in right. Romy Gonzalez gets the nod at third base today. No Moncada. Anderson and Hernandez, the middlemen. Gavin Sheets is at first base with Abreu DHing, and there's Zach Collins, his first action since returning from AAA.
Oh, how about that? 7th birthday and first Sox game. Happy birthday. What a great way to experience it and start a tradition. Come every year.
And hopefully it's a memorable game for that young fan.
Interestingly enough, Gordon Beckham just turned 7 today as well. Congratulations to Gordon. Happy birthday, buddy.
Well played.
I sent Gordon a happy birthday text, and he sent me back that gif of Homer Simpson receding into the shrubbery. So he evidently, Gordon does not like when people talk about his birthday, so please tweet at him at Gordon Beckham. Tell Gordon happy birthday and make sure he knows you are out there. Happy birthday, Gordo. First inning brought to you by Toyota, and off we go from lovely, blustery, Guaranteed Rate Field. Marsh looks at a strike, and our first pitch today just after 1:10.
Marsh moving up to the leadoff spot after a big night last night. 3 hits, including the game-winning home run.
It was in the 8th inning off a 3-2 pitch from Michael Kopech, who had looked outstanding until then. It was 5 straight batters he retired. Then Marsh teed off for that 3-2 win. Officially 79 degrees at game time. It is a perfect day for Major League Baseball. And there is a breaking ball from Reynaldo Lopez. He doesn't throw the curveball a whole lot, but he did there.
Yeah, that was a good one. Throws the slider a lot more often.
He's thrown it so little. Only 2 curveballs have been put in play from his hand this year, as he nails the fastball, strike 3 to start the ball game.
You know, there aren't a ton of starting pitchers who regularly hit 97. Yeah, there are a lot of relief pitchers around the game, but if you can place that fastball right there, you can make a lot of money.
David Fletcher, you know, 2 numbers stand out to me for Reynaldo Lopez. The first one being most significant, that his chase rate is well up from anywhere else in his major league career. He's getting a lot more swing out of the zone, and it's got to be in part because he's just throwing more competitive pitches this year.
I think confidence has a lot to do with it. You know, the eye surgery he had early in the year might be a factor. He was having trouble seeing the signs prior to the corrective procedure.
I hear about it a lot with hitters, but not as much with the LASIK surgery or whatever procedure you have done. With pitchers, Gavin in foul territory has no play, 2-2. You really wouldn't change anything about today for baseball, except maybe free paperweights for everybody. It's Abreu-tiful, according to our weather crew. That's 79 degrees.
Yeah, about the only thing would be maybe an infielder dealing with the sun and the wind. And in terms of enjoying a ball game, this is as good as it gets in terms of the setting.
Another foul ball right hand side. So if you're on the first base line and you're sitting there, you're enjoying your pretzel, your freshly squeezed lemonade, you may have a souvenir by now.
Your pretzel cannot be freshly squeezed?
It could be. It would be slightly mangled. 2-2 through that light blue sky into center field, and Robert coasting in for out number 2. All right, let's do Statcast powered by Google Cloud. The Sox have had great success against Shohei Ohtani so far in this series. 43 pitches, and 20 of them have been fastballs. You see, they've had very good success out of the zone, and with Statcast, even the fastballs have a high spin rate as they come into your living room. I think that's new, that the baseball's moving like they do. How about that?
Like it. The big story today is not Ohtani at the bat. It's the fact that he has a sore arm. He will not pitch tomorrow night against the Oakland A's. Joe Maddon said he has not been shut down. So with a couple weeks left, possible he could make another start or 2. But at this point in a season in which the Angels are not going to make the playoffs, certainly would seem to be within the realm of possibility that he's thrown his last pitch.
Off the bag, Cesar recovers, but not in time, and there's the first hit for Ohtani in the series.
Well, he finally got some good luck in this series. It's still a great effort by Cesar, who stuck with it.
Would you be in favor of flat bases so that couldn't happen?
No, I would not. And here's why.
First, this.
I think the challenge with home plate is when guys slide in, you know, they sometimes slide over the plate. When you're sliding into a bag, you need it to be elevated so you can kind of hit the bag, right? And I think if it were a flat base, it would create more problems than it would solve.
You'd have a lot of replay reviews of people sliding by bases. There's the plate. And the Angels telecast is saying, why are they showing home plate? Well, we're not sending that to the Angels. Evidently, shots of home plate don't make it all the way to heaven.
I feel like you just had an off-air conversation on the air.
Thanks for stopping by our meta telecast, Len.
Back on Ohtani for a second. Without knowing the particulars, I'd be surprised if he pitches again this season. I think organizationally you got to think about the big picture. And they might just tell Shohei at one point, just, you know, lock up the MVP with a big run here with the bat. You've been good enough on the mound.
Yeah, the fact that he's pitched to any tune of any success means that he's good enough on the mound. I think I agree with you. It's not like another scenario from a couple years ago where if he would have gotten hurt while he was pitching, people would have said, well, he's not able to do this. He's proven that he can do it, and now it's about maintenance.
He was leaning.
He was.
Now, what might kind of trump that is Ohtani being adamant that he wants to get back on the mound for, you know, at least an inning or 2 just to feel good about himself going into the winter. Another little flinch by Ohtani.
He's enjoying himself in Pickoff Theater. Tickets still available for Pickoff Theater. Strike 3. Lopez again paints with the fastball. Ohtani stranded. And here comes TA after this.
Oh, thanks. It's cool. I can.
No, I got it. Sweet unholy cobalt. Is Brad's car better than mine? Better sign-up bonus? Better travel perks? Is that how Brad took that trip to Barcelona? Wait, Barcelona. Barcelona?
Steve, I got it on NerdWallet.
Ah. You said all that out loud.
Want a better credit card? We've got you. From the best rates to the best rewards, for all your credit card questions, turn to the nerds.
You spend 1/3 of your life in bed. That's why at Bull & Branch, we hold ourselves to a higher standard. Our bedding is 100% organic, toxin-free, and fair trade certified. It makes a difference you'll feel. And offers a better way to live in this world. Start with our best-selling signature sheets made to get softer with every wash. Visit bowlandbranch.com.
White Sox scoreless in the bottom of the first inning. They'll face the maestro, Alex Cobb, on the mound. And here is the lineup for the Sox, brought to you by Insure on the Spot. Get your free auto insurance quote and save in just 2 minutes at insureonthespot.com. TA at 364 on the BABIP, 382. He does hit the ball very hard. Luis Robert at 412, which is likely only to grow if he keeps hitting cannon shots like he does. Zach Collins back in the lineup. Romy Gonzalez first start as well in this series.
There's Alex Cobb. He is back from the injured list. First start today since late July. Dealing with a wrist issue. You see his arsenal. The splitter is a very important pitch, and you see throws it almost 38% of the time. He's never beaten the White Sox in 4 career starts. Their UI Health defense: Wong, Marsh, Rojas in the outfield, Mayfield, Rengifo, Fletcher, Walsh around the infield. Stassi and Cobb make up the Angels battery.
First pitch, a strike to Tim Anderson, who didn't play yesterday. He played the opening game of the series, and we talked about this through the series, that you'll likely see Tim 1 day on, 1 day off in order to get him ready for the postseason, which again has not been clinched yet, but the magic number at 7, you start to think about what it's going to look like for everybody's, for lack of a better term than the NBA has, load management down the stretch here. Cobb had been throwing the ball very well before that injury you were talking about. He had allowed 3 total earned runs in his last 23 2/3 in his prior 4 starts. Our player profile presented by Geico. Make it easy. This is with and without Tim Anderson this year. Yes, the Sox are 2 over without him, but 19 over with him, and the runs per game is substantial enough in 36 games to tell you it's a robust number.
Yeah, when he's at his best at the top of the order, he really makes this offense go, and the numbers don't lie.
You were there in Iowa for the Field of Dreams game. What was the aftermath of that moment like?
Well, I could tell you when the White Sox lost the lead that it felt like it was kind of ruining what was just a perfect day and night. And then when Tim hit the home run, it made a great night even better. And I think that was the signature win of the season. And the fact that this team, even when it is down late, you never feel like they're out of it.
Yeah, there's a spirit to these comebacks. As Tim clips it foul. You just think about what could have been, right? Yes, it is a special game and a special night, but you could also, if you really wanted to, as a baseball player, you could treat it as one game in August on a really hot night, and you just gave up the lead, and there's nothing left in the tank. And the Sox did the very opposite of that, with Tim Anderson providing the final word as it's 2-2 on TA, and a long sequence here of 7 pitches against Cobb.
They call those character wins. I don't know what they mean, but if the players believe in it, then it does matter, and I think you need to pile up a few of those along the way to know that you can when the moments are even bigger.
Two from Cobb. Struck him out. Late swing on a fastball. One down.
I mentioned Cobb has not beaten the White Sox, and his career earned run average 10.70, but he had a quality start in Anaheim back on April the 3rd. You see that two-seam grip. He went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs, struck out 7. Stuff still very good for the 33-year-old right-hander.
Rengifo at short. Quick out for Robert. 2 gone for Abreu, DHing today. We will watch Jose in the dugout and see how restless he is. He is not the biggest fan of designated hitting, but day game going into a trip to Texas, Detroit, and Cleveland. It's a good day to get off your feet. We'll be seated for the entire telecast for that reason.
He's been good as a DH, whether he likes doing it or not.
I was talking to Matt Spiegel about that the other day on the old radio. There are some guys who you've talked to him throughout the years. I know you spent some time in the National League, but there are some guys who just never really take to DHing. They just don't like the feel. And they like being involved in the game other than standing in the dugout.
Yeah, I think Eloy is that way. 16th time Abreu has DH'd. And the number's a little off, except for the batting average. It's still good. That's a nasty splitter from Alex Cobb. Righty lefty doesn't matter, he'll throw it.
It starts to look like a sinker with its horizontal movement that just falls off. Oh, 2. And there's another one.
We blew our chance earlier talking about the field of dreams in the cornfield, and Alex Cobb would have been a very good starting pitcher for that night. Maybe facing Mark Canha.
You know, when Steve's here, we have a grand time. When Gordon's here, we have a grand time, but we don't get these sorts of kernels from anyone but you. Struck him out on the curveball, and the inning and sadly this conversation are both over. No score.
Sometimes you want the adventure, but sometimes you want the shortcut. With Home Chef Fast and Fresh, all you need is a microwave or oven and just enough time to heat, eat, and repeat. Who said food can't be fast and home cooked? Probably someone who never tried Fast and Fresh. Effortlessly create home-cooked meals like a pro with no prep and no mess. Delicious, meat simple. Get $80 off your first month at homechef.com.
This is my first time trying on glasses at home.
So cute! 5 different frames from Warby Parker.
Oh, this one's better.
Ooh. Ah. Hey.
The virtual try-on is perfect. Like, they look like they're on my face. Like, look at this. Just swipe and switch.
These are definitely a keeper.
I think these are the one. Ooh, these look good.
That was so easy. They make it so fun and fabulous.
Big story presented by Mattress Firm. It's the American League playoff picture as it stands right now with the Yankees, Blue Jays, and Red Sox all tied for the wild card. That day after the season could be a little wild if it stays like that. We had remembered the game 163s in 2018 in both leagues. And the Astros still in second place, 2 games ahead of the Sox, with the tiebreakers we were talking about yesterday to the Astros thanks to winning the season series. That looks like it's not going to break up very easily between those 3 to 5 teams in the wild card race. And I love good carnage at the end of the year with a game 163.
Oakland, yeah. No, I like chaos. If it doesn't involve your team, you're all for it.
Yes. And traveling secretaries like Ed Casson are very happy when you've got it decided like 5 days in advance.
Always helps. Oakland down early 2-0 at Kansas City. Salvador Perez has hit number 45.
Remaining schedules for the wild card teams. The A's have it very tough, but they have opportunity there. Who do you think will win the 2 wild card spots?
Well, at this point, the way the Blue Jays are playing, you've got to like their chances, and toss up between the Yankees and Red Sox, I'd say.
You think the West is done?
Well, they just have too much ground to make up and need some help. But you never know. It's happened before.
Two and 2. Fouled away left side. Yeah, Salvi, you mentioned with the Royals, has had just a marvelous season, a bright spot in a tough year.
So he's now tied for the major league lead, and he's knocked in 112 to lead the league in RBIs.
Another foul ball from Walsh.
I think maybe the Mariners might be a sentimental favorite among some baseball fans, considering they haven't played in the postseason since 2001. They have the longest active postseason drought among the 4 major sports.
It's the Arizona Cardinals for a while.
And I guess there's a little bit of irony in that 0-1 season they won 116 games and did not get to the World Series, and they haven't been to the playoffs again since.
That was the year Brett Boone went crazy, right? 0-1.
Well, the whole team. I mean, that was Ichiro. Yeah.
3 and 2 from Lopez to Walsh. Second inning brought to you by Menards. Ball 4. Your 2021 Chicago White Sox, presented by Guaranteed Rate. Learn how you can turn your belief in a new home into action at rate.com. If you believe, you will. Lock in a 2022 ticket plan and get 2021 postseason access by visiting whitesox.com today. You know all of the principles of the 2001 Mariners. Guys like John Olerud and Mike Cameron and Ichiro, as you mentioned, and Edgar Martinez. I did not know this until I was just looking. Scott Podsednik had 6 plate appearances for the 0-1 Mariners.
Yeah. It's fun to go back a decade or 2 or 3 and go, oh yeah, that guy played for this team.
Scotty Pott's major league debut, I'm told by Chris Kamka, was pinch running for Ichiro. Like Mayfield for the Angels. His debut was pinch running for Albert Pujols. That ball's crushed. Right field, and Rengifo has given the Angels the lead.
He's put some good swings on baseballs in this series. And not much doubt about that one. We're into that at bat at 184, but he gives the Angels the early lead. Ford home run replay. Pitch was up. And he did the damage. You know, I was just thinking, Walsh led off the inning with a walk. That is the 13th walk issued by White Sox pitching already in this series. A bit too many for Ethan Katz's taste, and they really hurt when they come right before home runs.
That has not really been the lay of the land for this team this year. It has not put itself in many bad spots like this for an entire series in terms of walks. Check swing and a strike.
White Sox walk rate as a staff 8.4%. That's slightly below league average, so it has not really been a big issue.
Strike three on a slider, a high slider from Lopez to Mayfield, and one gone.
Reynaldo has 3 strikeouts here in the early going. They've all been of the looking variety, and that one clearly in the box. And a good slider.
How about the Giants walk rate at 7% as a staff?
And on the other end, the Cardinals, although I think based mostly on the first half, walking way too many people, over 10%.
You could argue that there is nothing a fan base likes less than a pitching staff that walks a lot of players.
That's right.
And then sometimes you ask the same fans, what do you want out of your hitters? And like the 5th thing out of their mouth is on base percentage.
It feels like it viscerally hurts a lot more when you walk other teams' hitters.
Rojas a base hit with 1 out here in the second. Don't you think so, though?
No, it's true. It's true. I think it's harder to maybe appreciate when your team does it to other teams' pitching staffs. Rojas just back on their roster. And that is their 3rd hit here in the early going.
Joe Adell done for the year, according to Joe Madden. Very likely won't play again this year. And here is Kian Wong. He takes a breaking ball for ball 1. Bunch of curveballs so far in the early going from Reynaldo Lopez this afternoon. There goes a runner. Throw down to second by Collins is right there. It looked like a botched hit and run. Rojas is out.
Nice throw by Zach. And Rojas was out by a mile. One thing Tony has talked about a lot is the White Sox have to be a lot better in the running game defensively. And that is how you do it. Kian Wong is the younger brother of Colton Wong, now playing with Milwaukee. Colton is 30. Kian is 26. Both left-hand hitters. Colton listed at 5'7", 185. Kian 5'9", 189.
Colton Wong, part of one of the great moments in baseball this year as he took the bag that he stole off of Yadier Molina. Inning over, Angels take the lead 2-0.
Hey Al, I'm just wondering, during the demo on MLB Tonight, what was that meatball you threw?
Meatball? I think you're misunderstanding. That was a hitting demonstration, and that's what I was supposed to do.
Oh, he go home, baby. Right. I think that ball's still traveling. Any farther and you need a flight plan for it.
Next question.
The Analyst of MLB Tonight, answering baseball's toughest questions. Only on MLB Network.
Every time he takes the field, he competes not only against the other team, but against the toughest adversary, himself. MLB Tonight, where the best outdo their best on MLB Network.
Some broadcasts give you news, some give you notes. We give you both news and notes. Salvador Perez last night hit his 44th home run of the season. And guess what? He's got his 45th already today. This was from last night. The one from today gave him 45. Cedric Mullins for MVP, maybe? Out in center field, Gary Sanchez, your thoughts? No. Mullins, the interception. And then umpire Tim Timmons was waving to the grounds crew, and some thought he had ejected the grounds crew. With the infield in, Tim Timmons claimed in a news story that he did not eject the grounds crew, though it looked like he ran them all. He was just telling them that he didn't want them there at that moment with the infield in. He thought there was a dangerous situation.
Yeah, didn't want them to interfere with the play, but it was there was a threat of rain. That's why they were on the field.
And there they all went. I mean, it was like the sausage race, but with grounds crew members.
We're told 3 of the 27 have appealed.
Yeah, that's right. Their fines have been paid for by the head groundskeeper. And then it started to rain. Like minutes later, it started to rain at Camden Yards. So they had to come.
Nobody there to roll out the tarp.
Unreal. Can't find good help these days. I would watch that footage of them running off the field over and over again on a loop.
Could probably make that happen later.
2-1. Eloy fouls it away, third base side, 2-2.
And a struggle here of late. He did have the double to lead off the 9th last night before leaving for a pinch runner. You feel like a big stretch of home runs and 4 for 5s still coming for Eloy. He missed the first 99 games. Not here, though.
Good sinker from Cobb, whose stuff looks sharp off the injured list. Third strikeout for Cobb.
He's faced 4. And he has got a lot of action on the 2-seamer and the splitter here in the early going.
Yeah, that showed as a ball to Eloy Jimenez, and then suddenly it ripped over the outside half. So now Gavin Sheets takes a high curveball, 1-0. Eloy has not had a home run this month as yet. His last home run was against the Cubs back on August the 29th. You hear the wind, by the way, whipping through the ballpark on our microphones. It's one of those days where in the 7th inning, when everybody's had their food and they've had their hot dogs with the paper wrapping, at some point there'll be a bunch of napkins or like some of that paper in the outfield just rolling around looking for a home.
Like old Candlestick.
Got a little chilly there, didn't it? Old candlestick.
June and July, the night games. Yeah.
Three and one. It's ball four. Gavin's the first base runner for the Sox today. They close out the regular season. It's 2 lower level tickets for $30. Still plenty of exciting White Sox baseball to come this year here at home. Be here for it all. For tickets and more info, go to whitesox.com/closer. Or Liam Hendricks and Craig Kimbrell will yell at you.
I think Liam's more of the yeller.
You do?
Of the two. Every now and again, Craig will show his hand, but not nearly as much as Liam.
I don't know Craig like I know Liam, but it seems like Craig bottles it up.
Yeah, they go about it different ways. Both intense, but they show it differently.
I think the average showing of emotion is right at the 50th percentile for those two guys. Liam all day long, and then Kimbrell a little different.
Leori feeling good, 365 since he came back from the concussion injured list. And 17 games of work.
Well, Tapper, third base side, and this is going to roll and roll and roll and roll and corner pocket to the third base bag. It's a base hit for Garcia.
Angels did the right thing. They really had no play, so just let it spin. And it kept its line all the way down to third base. And when you're going right, you get hits like this. First hit of the day for the Sox.
Isn't it? It's just a wild game. This game has gone through so many movements rule-wise, so many changes from its earliest playing days a long, long time ago. And then you watch it and there's this magic that happens in front of you when somebody gets a base hit off something like that, and everybody just looks at each other and smiles or rolls their eyes in the case of the Angels. As Romy takes ball one. If you're just learning baseball, you're a kid watching, the average and on base percentage means that he is yet to have a walk yet in his major league career. Same average and on base percentage for you youngsters out there.
I could complicate it and say he's got a sac fly and a walk, but I won't.
I think Connor just yelled for you over there in the radio booth. And just
every now and again you'll see
out
a guy with an on-base percentage lower than the batting average, and you get a million tweets. What's going on here? The sac flies count is outs on your OBP.
Second base and Fletcher. That's a double play. And we will go to the third inning. Len has the play-by-play if we both make it after this.
Against a team that's got a bunch of right-handers.
Relax and watch High Heat with Christopher Russo, only on MLB Network.
Before every big matchup, there's hours of preparation. Behind every clutch punch-out, there's hundreds of reps. But it's worth it. I'm Lucas Giolito of the Chicago White Sox, and my dream lives here on MLB Network.
Mr. Smokes! Mr. Smokes!
You, go ahead.
Since signing with MLB Network, you've been very busy. You've done pitching demos, game analysis, and color commentary for live games. How are you able to juggle so many roles as an analyst?
It just comes naturally, I guess.
The Analyst of MLB Tonight, answering baseball's toughest questions, only on MLB Network.
That's why he's a Hall of Famer.
Sox insider Vinny Duber at NBCSportsChicago.com, presented by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Get to enjoy knowing the Vuk as much as you do the jingle at JeffVuk.com, because Nationwide is on your side.
That was terrible. Trying to harmonize.
That was...
I have no idea what I was doing.
There was a little Beach Boys in there. Like one of the Beach Boys.
Right, just one. The one who couldn't sing.
If that was a shot at John Stamos, he does not appreciate that. 2-0 Angels with the lead here in the third.
The third inning is brought to you by Hyundai. Brandon Marsh caught looking on strikes to lead off the ball game. Angels head home after this one. The Sox will fly to Texas. 2 bounces to Sheets. And now a word from the Home Depot.
The Home Depot rental has everything you need to go the distance, including tools, trucks, and equipment, some with job site delivery.
Now Fletcher, who leads the major leagues in opposite field hits. He flied to center in the first inning. 1 for 8, plus 3 walks in the series. Gonzalez is in at third, and the fastball is low and outside. And Gonzalez will pick it up. 2 quick outs.
Hey, Sunday after the Bears home opener against the Bengals flipped to NBC Sports Chicago for the football after show. Lance, Alex, Olin, and Cap are back to break down all the action. Joe Burrow and the Bengals against the Bears. Saw the promo for Cap with Ryan McGuffey earlier on our wonderful network. 2 smart people there.
Very much so.
Guff and whoever was behind the scenes. Just kidding, Cap. You're too kind to me. Tweeted very nice things yesterday. We love Cap. And he's literally on every show ever.
He is. Infield hit for Ohtani. Bouncer hit the bag at first in the first. Changeup is wide. 2 balls and no strikes on Ohtani. Lopez home, cut and a miss. Center cut fastball.
Shohei is just a little bit off. We saw him month and a half ago, 2 months ago, swing it really well. He's just not in the same groove right now.
.44 home runs. This will get back out of play off to the left.
Last 43 games, a 191 average. Some people watching might say, well, that's why you don't participate in the home run derby. And the numbers do not really bear that out, that the home run derby affects your swing in any way.
Lopez strikes out Ohtani. He's got 5 in the early going. 2-0 Angels.
This question is for Carlos Pena. Carlos, for the record, where did your signature term, placata, come from?
Placata is just an expression my brothers and I used when we were kids. It means good, solid contact, usually resulting in a home run.
Placata!
So, if you go deep, it means you just went placata.
The Analyst of MLB Tonight, answering baseball's toughest questions. Only on MLB Network.
Placata!
I love the Boys and Girls Clubs because they help you believe that you can make it to the big leagues.
Big leagues of what? Law?
Art? Construction? Baseball?
How'd you guess?
For 25 years, Major League Baseball has partnered with the Boys and Girls Clubs of America to help kids make it to the big leagues of anything.
In 2007, Jim Thome, 499 home runs. Dustin Mosley, bottom 9. And a game winner for Jim Thome. See mom and dad getting to celebrate his wife and father here. And, you know, kids were very young at the time. And Jim Thome, one of the most wonderful human beings out there. He had gone on a streak of 3 home runs in a row in about a week prior, as that gets down, to put himself in that situation to hit 500 against the Angels that day.
612 home runs for the Hall of Famer, and good to see Zach Collins back in the big leagues, 1 for 1 since his return. Leadoff single, it'll bring up Cesar Hernandez. Had a nice chat with Jim during batting practice yesterday about the postseason. And he said the most pressure-packed moment of his entire career was, care to take a guess? The situation in the postseason that made him, I guess I wouldn't say nervous, but he said he really felt the pressure.
Game 163 in 2008.
Nope. Extra innings on defense, game 7 in 97.
Wow.
And he said, look, you know, you feel pressure as an offensive player. There's a bouncer to first. They'll get one. Relay. Can't turn it. As Walsh could not handle the bounced relay throw. That should have been a double play, and fortunately for the Sox, it's just a fielder's choice.
Defense, huh?
He said you feel pressure on offense, but he said the relievers are so good that if you don't come through, you won't be remembered. But if you make a miscue on defense in extra innings in game 7 of the World Series, you're remembered forever. And he said ultimately you feel fortunate that you can be in that sort of situation, but he said he felt it. Never heard it said that way before. What a pick, and they get it out. David Fletcher somehow able to glove that ball and get Hernandez at second base.
When this came off the bat, didn't think there was any shot anybody was getting to it, and then certainly not to make a play like this. That is just brilliant footwork and hand-eye coordination by Fletcher to find a way arm angle wise to get that to Rengifo. Outstanding stuff.
Tim, I'm sure, thought he had a base hit. I thought he had a base hit, and instead it's an 0 for 1 as he stands at first with 2 outs and fouled away by Luis Robert. Remember that play, especially where they are in the lineup with Robert and Abreu coming up. Could have been 2 on 1 out.
A postscript on Jim Thome, by the way. It was wonderful to see his dad be able to, before he passed, get to go to Cooperstown and help induct Jim into the Hall of Fame. But his son Landon, Jim's son Landon, can really swing it. We saw it in the celebrity softball game at the All-Star game a couple of years ago. Daughter Lila has a wonderful voice, by the way. She's sung the national anthem previously at baseball games, and I have a feeling Jim and Andrea have another generation of Thomes that are destined to be great at a lot of things, which is not surprising.
Not at all. Short lead by Tim. Would not expect him to be aggressive coming back from the hamstring injury. 1-2 on Robert. And Robert strikes out. Sox grand one. 2-0 Angels after 3.
Before every big matchup, there's hours of preparation. Behind every clutch punch-out, there's hundreds of reps. The blood, sweat, and tears. Living the big league dream comes at a cost, but it's worth it. Because a chance to play in October is every kid's dream. I'm Lucas Giolito of the Chicago White Sox, and my dream lives here on MLB Network.
I'm Lorenzo Cain, and you can catch me robbing home runs on MLB Tonight.
I'm Bill Ripken, and you can catch me talking about those robbed home runs on MLB Tonight.
MLB Tonight, where baseball's best players are side by side with TV's best baseball analysts.
Kids down to bed. I like to come down here and dust off the bobbleheads, keep them looking good for Sox math. I know how much you liked them last time, Jason. Back to you, Len and Jason.
Good to see Dave Cello winning Sox math today from our crew. Hashtag Sox math, Sox magic number plus Gordon's age yesterday. First correct answer does the video tomorrow and gets out the duster.
That correct answer probably has already been sent. And Stassi sends one to deep left, and it is off the wall. Stassi, I think, thought he hit a home run.
He was trotting.
He was trotting. He thought that ball left the yard. And it stayed in. And had he kept jogging, he would have been out by 30 feet.
He's lucky he recognized it because he was jogging around first base and was going to second. Watch him right here. He turns and he's just looking down. Whoa! Hey now.
Maybe Eloy's reaction led him to believe it was out of here. So that could be big, keeping the double play in order. And the batter is Walsh, who walked and scored his first time up. That's low. Pounced on by Collins.
So we were talking about Jim Thome's son Landon. Brian Godish tweets in, I still have nightmares about how hard Chris Sale's 5-year-old son was hitting wiffle balls at us at Ronald McDonald House a few years ago. That is absolutely true. Chris's son was hitting bullets, and he actually popped Chris pretty good on the pitcher's mound. It's a very small field.
So how old is he now? Probably 9 or 10?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. The fourth inning is brought to you by Elk Grove Village. Learn more about our Beyond Business Friendly community at makerswanted.org. Reynaldo on a 1-1. Sprayed foul to left. It's 1-2. Started early in Pittsburgh today, and the Reds lead the Pirates late 1-0, top of the 8th. Reds have struggled of late. Right now they're on the outside looking in on the wild card, trailing St. Louis by a game and a half. That is Gonzalez. He leaves his feet, and the throw is going to be late. Good effort, but that'll be an infield knock for Walsh.
Long way to go for Romy, playing essentially the shortstop position. I don't think he had a play at second either here.
He did not, and he did what he could. So 2 on and nobody out for Rengifo, who hit a go-ahead home run in the second. Started to bunt, took a curve low. 3 hits in the series, including that home run. Jason mentioned early, gorgeous day, 79 degrees, cloudless sky, breezy. On a hop, Tim knocks it down, and Hernandez was not at second base, and everybody's safe.
It's one of those situations where Cesar, I think, just froze a little bit, and you're also playing in the shift some, so that's a long way to go for Cesar Hernandez, but he was just sort of window shopping as Tim was fielding that ball. He likely could have gotten there in order to make the play at second base, and that will go as an error against Tim. It's a tough error.
I agree. Yeah, the initial hesitation was all it took, and now the bases are loaded, and here's Mayfield. Cornermen will play in. Swing and a miss on a fastball.
I heard Jim Edmonds talking about this the other day on a Cardinals telecast, that when infielders are put in the shift, and I'm not decrying the shift, I'm just saying this is the way Jim presented it. When infielders are in the shift, their instincts change based on their location, their spatial location. And when you watch guys do things, they're not as fluid when they're not in their same spot over and over again. Now, that wasn't a major shift in any way for Cesar Hernandez, but you do think about the instincts for a player with how much they are moving, and you do wonder what the cost of that might be play to play.
Yep. Well, shifting is there to get an out. Ground ball fair. Right near that bag, at least 2 will score, and they'll try to get a third, and it's 5-0, and the ball gets passed, and Mayfield will end up at third. There's some sloppy defense here by the White Sox, and the Angels clear the bases, and still nobody out.
It's a breaking ball that hung around over the outside corner, and it was so slowly hit that Eloy had to charge that baseball. And again, we've seen some throws from the outfield this year that have sort of gone into no man's land, and this is yet another one of them, sort of that in between throw it home and hit the cut man, and that will always cost you a base at least.
3-run double, error on Eloy on the throw, allowing Mayfield to get to third. Infield in against Jose Rojas. He made his big league debut against the Sox back in April. Third stint with the big league team this season.
Rojas came in as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning of the 2nd game this year, his first major league at bat. His prize was to face a revved up Liam Hendricks, who struck him out in Liam's first outing of this season. You don't want to face Liam Hendricks after months off of regular season baseball.
No, but you want to be at this level, and he's playing for his hometown team. It's from Anaheim. And a blast to right. And it's a home run. Only question was fair or foul. And that is his 5th of the year. And then all of a sudden it's 7-0 Angels.
So your Ford home run replay, we saw a slider get hit earlier, and that one just sort of leveled off on the inside corner as well. Didn't have a whole lot of snap to it and just stayed for the windshield wiper.
So Ethan Katz out for a conference, and we'll see some action in the bullpen. Looks like lefty Jace Fry will start to heat up. Five big ones for the Angels here in the 4th. As hard as it is, I'm sure one of the messages from Ethan Katz is just erase that, starting the inning right here. And Wong takes ball 1. Well, you look at the batting stance. As you look at him, if you said that's Colton at the plate, you'd be like, oh, okay.
He's wearing gray on red.
Yeah, he kind of has that, old Cardinal look. Colton, a terrific defender at second base.
I know the Cardinals had other choices, but I was kind of surprised that he didn't hang around there. He seemed very much like a Cardinal type player, and he goes in division and has been very useful for Milwaukee this year, who, by the way, that has turned into a complete runaway at 89 and 57, as there is Jace Fry getting loose.
And Colton having the best year of his career to this point. Called third. That's the first out. Bring your family of 4 to a White Sox game starting at just $59 with the great family 4-pack. You'll get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 drinks, 4 bags of chips to select games. For tickets, visit whitesox.com/4packs. Marshall for 2 takes a fastball high. That missed the corner. Long way to go today, but already 7-zip. 2-run homer Rengifo in the 2nd, and then 5 more here in the 4th. And the Sox have committed 2 errors to help the Angels a bit too much.
The ramifications of a loss here would be that the earliest the Sox could clinch would be in Detroit after that series in Texas, and the smaller ramification in terms of games, not road series, would be that the Astros would have a chance to pick up a full game with a win in Texas.
Let's see if there's room for Eloy, and nope, just on the other side of that net. Cleveland off on this Thursday. We've got the Yankees this weekend. And that'll be in New York. Here's a 3-2, and he got him looking. 7 strikeouts, 5 called thirds. Make that 6. Have been of the looking variety.
It's a weird day for Lopez because the fastball command has generally been pretty good, and he's gotten hurt on a couple of breaking balls that have not been where he's wanted them at all.
Foul strike on Fletcher. Angels have already clinched the season series. They're trying to make it a 5-2 record against the Sox this year. And you can see on these first 2 swings why David Fletcher leads the major leagues in opposite field hits.
Well, you mentioned yesterday they like him enough to give him that contract extension. Local product. Ooh, tantalizing.
Made that big defensive play in the last half inning.
That one was closer, and Lopez didn't get that call. You heard the plate umpire today, Chris Conroy, said it's down.
Still 2-2.
Probably not going to get another strikeout looking from David Fletcher.
I would tend to agree. And when he swings, 9 out of 10 times he makes contact. So Reynaldo clearly frustrated.
He went out of the full wind to first.
7-0 Angels in the 4th.
You didn't see me, but I was there. I've been part of every rivalry, every dynasty, every game, set, match. I've been on the backs of champions, smashed world records, and I was even there for your personal best. I am synthetic fabric, and I am made from crude oil.
Nerds! Have new money goals this year? NerdWallet can help make them happen. Like getting auto insurance to match your new 0-mile commute? We have tools for that. Want to refinance your mortgage and put those savings into the college fund? We have tips for that too. Or get a low-interest credit card for your long-awaited honeymoon? We can help you find the one. Credit card, that is. Discover and compare the smartest credit cards, mortgage lenders, and more on NerdWallet. For all your money questions, turn to the nerds.
pretty routine today.
Yeah, it's, you know,
not a typical, you know, Thursday like New York Times. It's a little tricky. This one kind of a Monday.
Yeah,
but I like it.
Honestly, you know, the weekend's coming. Sox had lost yesterday. It's a little bit of a pot shot at Gordon, who now no longer is 34. He's 35 today. Congratulations, Gordo. Happy birthday to you.
Still a young man. White Sox bats have a lot of work to do. Down 7 against Alex Cobb, who's making his first start since late July. And he has looked sharp early on.
At what age are you no longer a young person?
Well, now you start to get into that existential area. I would say Gordon's getting close to that age where you probably don't like adding a number every birthday. I'd say mid-30s you start to ponder that.
We do existential baseball when it's 7-0. At 38, I can tell you that is 100% true. So if it's not 35, it's in the coming 2-3 years. 2-3 years for Gordon.
Fouled at the plate on a split.
We have seen enough wild rides in this ballpark to know that 7-0 is not insurmountable. And so, you never know.
No shift against Abreu. And the bouncer to third, tough play, and he'll reach.
It's got to start somewhere. Juggling act at third for Mayfield. It was kind of a short hop here. He was in between giving ground and charging, and quite often that leads to disaster.
Still haven't heard a scoring decision, and it is an error. I think that's probably the correct call, but that is far from a routine play. And here comes Eloy.
It was off the bat at about, what did it say, 109 miles an hour?
Well, that to me is interesting because I do think exit velocity matters on scoring decisions like that.
It shortens the reaction time. If you believe that the scoring decision should change if the infielder is playing in, you should also believe that the decision might change. And I don't know if that's a hit or an error, but exit velocity shortens your reaction time just like playing in does.
Agreed. I guess if the question happened to be Jack may field it or not, we have our answer.
Yeah, that's a big no. The answer is
they are set up for 2 around the infield against Eloy. Again, Cobb trying to beat the White Sox for the first time in his career. It's 2-2 on Jimenez. Alex is from Vero Beach, Florida. He was a bat boy at Old Dodger Town when he was a kid. The Dodgers spent about a half century, I think, in Vero Beach, going back to their Brooklyn days, and then stayed there when they moved to Los Angeles. Eventually, they moved to Arizona, now share Camelback Ranch in Glendale with the White Sox. Vero Beach was taking a step back in time for sure. I had a chance to go there a few times before they closed up shop. And it was a pretty cool place. No dugouts. We just had benches. And Hifo to second, one, the relay not in time.
Looked like they might have a shot, but Eloy is faster than his body type would look. We learned that every time he's going down the line. and it was Fletcher's throw. It was a short hopper. It turned into just a 1-out. Tell me more about how. No dugouts. Where was everybody?
They were just benches with chain link fence in front and behind the bench. For a long time, I don't believe they had fences in the outfield. They just had kind of rolling hills. And yeah, the fans were right on top of the action. Tiny little high school-like press box. They had barracks on the grounds with a golf course. I think in the later years, the minor league camp guys would stay on campus. And I'll never forget going over to the cafeteria for lunch before a game and walking in and seeing Tommy Lasorda in full Dodger uniform having lunch and regaling Dodger front office types and media people with old Tommy stories.
Love that.
It was great.
Let's get a tray of food, have a little broccoli cheese soup and a taco or something, and Tommy's telling you stories.
Yeah, some green jello.
So no fences?
Well, they did when I was there, but I believe going back to the 50s and 60s, they may have had a time where they didn't have home run fences. I could be making that up, but it sounds like a good story, so I'll stick with it.
Yeah, if nobody's got any pictures. There were no smartphones back then, so just go with it.
No, I feel like I heard that.
Where was it that there wasn't, like, there were just fans cordoned off at there was an old stadium. Was it the Polo Grounds? Where there was
I think when they had an overflow crowd in a lot of the old ballparks, they would put fans on the warning track.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I love those pictures.
Very common.
Looks like there was an in-game parade of fans.
Well, I'm sure we've got some people watching who have their Twitter apps open. Leary trying it again. This time not going to work. Last time that ball rolled past third base for an infield hit. Maybe somebody on Twitter remembers the Vero Beach fencing story, but I feel very fortunate to have been able to catch some spring training action there. And I buried the lead. The other part is you walk in, you hear the booming voice of Vin Scully. That didn't hurt either. A bouncer to Fletcher, and this time they turn it. Boy, those throws from second have all hit the dirt today, and that one picked by Walsh. And Cobb escapes with no damage done. After 4, all Angels 7-0 here in the rubber game.
Walsh is earning.
Sometimes you might not feel ready for the moment. With Roman at your side,
We got this.
you can take care of erectile dysfunction discreetly. So that you're ready. Roman ready.
You spend 1/3 of your life in bed. That's why at Bull & Branch, we hold ourselves to a higher standard. Our bedding is 100% organic, toxin-free, and fair trade certified. It makes a difference you'll feel and offers a better way to live in this world. Start with our best-selling signature sheets made to get softer with every wash. Visit bowlandbranch.com.
get caught up, presented by Bob Lacurcio Auto Group. Unfortunately, a lot of Angel offensive highlights. Rengifo 2-run homer off Lopez in the second inning to give them the lead. And then the fourth inning happened. This is a Jack Mayfield 3-run double. Throwing error as well, and Mayfield ends up at third base, but not for long. As Rojas with a home run. 7-0. That's where we stand as we get to the fifth inning. And here's Jace Fry. And here's Jason Benetti.
I was going to say, when you said Jace Fry, I thought you were going to say my name, and I was honored. Jace is on. Thank you for joining us, by the way, wherever you all might be, as Shohei Ohtani hits an absolute rocket down the right field line, and it's foul. But whoever caught that ball can say, if they care to, that they caught a Shohei Ohtani home run ball that the umpire just saw wrong or something like that. You can make up a story.
I think just a foul ball is worthwhile. 117 off the bat.
Just snap on that swing as you see Ohtani fans in the crowd here at Guaranteed Rate Field. He was really interesting to watch in the home run derby because his swing is so finely tuned and he is such a well-prepared guy. You expect him to come out, as you see, 128 batted balls, 100 plus. He's also thrown 11 pitches, 100 plus. He came out in the home run derby and he kept hitting ground balls. His first 5-6 swings were ground balls. And then suddenly it started to happen for him as he wands this ball to second. Cesar Hernandez with a long peg. And there is a base hit for Ohtani. 2 on the infield for him. Then when he hit that groove, it started to become awe-inspiring, although he didn't have a great run in the home run derby. A lot of the people who were in attendance were there for him, and he's put together such a following globally that if he and Trout are ever in the lineup together for a long period of time with Rendon and any of those 20 pitchers, as you were talking about yesterday, pans out in the draft, the Angels look like a little bit of a sleeping giant.
Absolutely. And I think the big key, well, I mean, even if Ohtani just DH'd, he would have great value, but the ability to start once a week on top of it just takes him to another level. A level we haven't seen in a long, long time.
How about that young lady who's got the sign that says, we've seen her now a couple of times in this series, that she went into debt to fly here to see Shohei Ohtani. Even if that's a bit of an exaggeration, it's number one still a very creative sign, and if it's true, then wow. I don't know that I'd be smiling that much if I had just gone into debt, but good for her. Baseball touches people. And so does Ohtani. What player would you go into debt to watch?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Why don't you answer first?
I mean, growing up in Chicago, Michael Jordan. I mean, I didn't know
we
what.
Can go back in time. We can.
Yeah.
Okay. I see.
Anybody.
Sure.
Old Hoss Radbourne, if you care to.
Yeah.
3-2. It's ball 4. 2 on, nobody out.
Hey, White Sox fans, Xfinity Mobile delivers fast nationwide 5G on the most reliable network. Save on your wireless bill with Xfinity Mobile.
You got some Dodger Town pictures over there?
Yeah, I think originally, I'm looking here, I don't think there was a fence. I'm going to go with that. So the wild pitch to charge to Fry. And runners will advance.
I don't have pictorial evidence yet, but our friend KO has just texted in and says no fences in Vero as of 1983.
There we go. Try to be somewhat accurate as we do our jobs.
And that's our promise. It's tipped foul by Jared Walsh. Some people, without even prompting, are playing Is It Lunch? 7-0. So we have one Is It Lunch that's a Cliff Bar, an apple, and a beer from the crowd today.
You add the beer to it, and I'm wavering a little bit.
You don't think that's lunch? You're not gonna.
I'm gonna go with no.
Really? I think a beer can be lunch.
Okay. That's why we asked the question, right?
That's definitely lunch. That row is lunch. Got some carbs in there. Many of the food groups represented, as it's 2-1 from Jace Fry to Jared Walsh, and there you go. It's lunch. Somewhere Homer Simpson is loving our telecast. Two-1. Walsh a bloop left-hand side, and this one is going to plink down in left field for an RBI single for Walsh. Ohtani scores. He didn't exactly hit it to Beverly Hills, but Walsh makes it 8-0.
Yeah, this has been that kind of day, hasn't it? It's the one part of the field where you could hit just a lazy pop-up and there just was nobody around with the shift. In fact, Stassi could not advance from second. It was that shallow.
The rare base hit with a runner at second where the runner stays at second. So here is Rengifo, who scored twice, once on a home run as Fry bends in that curveball.
Because of the score, you start to kind of try to think along with the manager here. Tony's going to need a reliever or two to give him multiple innings today. You don't obviously want to use a lot of bullpen in a score like this. And so when an inning starts to unravel a little bit, sometimes guys are asked, hey, or told, this is all you. You're not going to get anybody up. You got to get out of it.
Foul, Gavin Sheets with the wind blowing it toward the crowd, and it is out of play. This is also one of those days where I know Tony La Russa doesn't love doing it, but you might see a position player throw.
Yeah, if things don't change on the later stages, you could see that. There are guys who typically are kind of on the list that could use some work. But by and large, at this point in September, you're trying to save bullets as much as you can with your top guys.
Yeah, I mean, we are down to just a couple of weeks left in this season here.
I don't know how you feel about position players pitching, and I don't hold it against any teams for doing it. I understand why, and it's happened more often now than at any point in the recent past in blowout situations. But the idea came up earlier this year of the 7-inning mercy rule. The idea, if you're up by at least 10 runs after 7 innings, the game ends.
One hits him. Rengifo is going to first. I think the fans deserve to see the amount of innings that they came to see.
What about a game that's rained out after 6? It counts as a full game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's that's a weather situation, not a decision made by the league to go ahead and end the game. If you're going to talk about that being an option for whatever, however you compensate fans, or you just say, hey, look, some games you just know, right? You assume the risk that some games might be 7. I would be in favor of managers being able to say twice a year it's over. You don't want to make a manager do that because there's too much pride in it.
I think you have to legislate it that it automatically ends. I mean, we play 7-inning doubleheaders, and sometimes they're split admissions. What I like about it conceptually, and I've talked to a few people in the game, a lot of the unwritten rule stuff that gets talked about ad nauseum and causes benches to clear, you kind of get rid of a lot of that. Because if you're up by 8 or 9, you can steal a base to try to get up 10.
Yes.
As opposed to the idea of trying to figure out when is the right time to kind of stop pouring it on, so to speak. And again, I think that there was a novelty for a while of a position player pitching in a 13-1 deficit.
Anderson doing the splits in Cesar's turn, not in time. Safe to call at first. We'll see if the Sox want to take a look at it. Look, if the game's going on, you still can win. My feeling always has been, no matter what the score, if the game is going on, you still can win. That's the endearing part of this, as Tim sort of slid into his position. Looked like he was safe. And he was. So Stassi scores. Walsh to third. Rengifo out at second. 1 down. And here is Rojas.
And by the way, it's 10. It's not 11-2, 12-4. 10 is a pretty big number with 2 innings left.
I mean, a number of different baseball federations do have a rule like that. That was the rule even this year in Olympic qualifying up until the medal round. And so internationally, we've seen it in baseball. Cesar to Tim. He had to wait for it, and he pours it on for the double play. 4 and 6 and 3, and the inning's over. 9-zip, middle 5.
Before every big matchup, there's hours of preparation. Behind every clutch punch-out, there's hundreds of reps. But it's worth it. I'm Lucas Giolito of the Chicago White Sox, and my dream lives here on MLB Network.
The ballpark is better when we're all here together. COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective. Join the team and help us all get back to doing what we love together.
bit of a Liam Hendriks lookalike there at the tail end. I love the sign that says, "I skipped school to come see the Sox. Don't tell my teacher." You're playing in the middle ground there where you want people to see the sign, but you don't want to end up on television, I have to assume. So sorry about it.
Well, I think you want to end up on television.
Did you ever get pulled from school to go to a sporting event?
I don't believe so.
I definitely did. The Indy 500 got rained out 2 straight days, and my parents pulled me out of school and we drove down to Indy and watched the 500.
Nice.
My parents are the best. I got called to the principal's office. I was like, oh no. And they were like, well, you know, something's happened. Your parents have come to get you. And I was like, I wonder what. And I got in the car and they were like, we're going to go see Bobby Rahal. Okay, everything's fine. 1-2 is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Romy Gonzalez. We're going to go into the studio after Romy hits to check in with Ozzie Frank and Mark Carman and find out why Ozzie was dressed up as the Rocketeer today. His bomber jacket. That's a great look.
Yeah.
Oswald.
Good fan.
I love that. He looks like he's about to go be part of the Aaron Waters show. Two. Struck him out. 1 down. Let's go to the studio, see what's coming up on Subaru White Sox Postgame Live, and let's see if Ozzie will still talk to me. Guys. Ha! Hey, two things. Sometimes it's better when the Sox lose in the postgame because you all have crazy fun. And I will say this, I was joking about the jacket, but I actually love it. I think it's fantastic, Ozzie. Hey, it'll be like the puffy shirt on Seinfeld, right? You just get it. Oh my goodness. We'll talk to you guys in the 8th inning. Just the best.
Sartorial report.
Yeah, that's Steve was wearing like lavender the other day.
I saw it.
Yeah. Talking about Happy Easter.
That's what I think of.
Two 2-0. In the air, left-hand side, and foul for Cesar Hernandez. How about Ozzie mentioned it? Alex Cobb's throwing the ball very well today.
He has. And he's missed about a month and a half with a wrist injury, but you never would know it based on the way he's pitched this afternoon.
Trying left field again. This one stays fair. Wong is there, and the inning's over. A 1-2-3 fifth. Everybody go get a jacket like Ozzie's. 9-0.
Before every big matchup, there's hours of preparation. Behind every clutch punch-out, there's hundreds of reps. The blood, sweat, and tears. Living the big league dream comes at a cost, but it's worth it. Because a chance to play in October is every kid's dream. I'm Lucas Giolito of the Chicago White Sox, and my dream lives here on MLB Network.
I love the Boys and Girls Clubs because they help you believe that you can make it to the big leagues.
Big leagues of what? Law. Art. Construction. Baseball.
How'd you guess?
For 25 years, Major League Baseball has partnered with the Boys and Girls Clubs of America to help kids make it to the big leagues of anything.
Field Tuesday, September 28th. The White Sox take on the Cincinnati Reds at 7:10 p.m. First 10,000 fans will get a Jose Abreu 2020 MVP bobblehead. Visit whitesox.com to purchase your tickets today. A couple of changes for the White Sox. Ryan Burr will take over on the mound. And Billy Hamilton's now in the outfield. He'll play right for Leury Garcia.
So Hamilton and Burr have entered.
They have.
It just writes itself some days. Strike one to Wong. Sixth inning. Brought to you by Mike's Hard Lemonade Seltzer.
And we want to welcome all those viewers watching us on MLB Network today, and got a few tweets. Hey, we only heard the back end of the studio toss. So they're trying to figure out what our conversation was. Too complicated to tell you.
Yeah, you need Jessica Fletcher from Cabot Cove to figure that out for you. There's one down here in the sixth inning. He's Len Casper. I'm Jason Benetti. Our entire crew welcomes you. And by the way, our friend Keith Olbermann has tweeted in some pictures of Dodgertown from back in the day, from the 1950s and 40s. If you need a picture.
Back when he was in high school?
Yeah, that's back when he was Chris Berman's understudy in college. You know, 9-0. Why not try to scorch a friendship or two, huh? Is our mantra here. Cool pictures, though, of Dodgertown. Yeah. Holman Field. 2-0 from Burr. Every time you start a baseball season, you know there will be days like this. And the game's not over, certainly, but it's 9-0. And then when you're watching a game like this, you have this visceral gut reaction of, wow, nothing's going right. What if I was totally wrong about everything I ever thought about this team in 2021? And then you wake up tomorrow, the offense has had a penchant for scoring a lot of runs after a day like this, and you forget. 2-2 for Marsh.
Detroit just swept Milwaukee in a 2-game series. The Brewers are 89-57. Tigers 70-76.
Tigers could be a problem next year.
I agree.
Rob Leakin, I believe is his name, Lekan, tweets in, I don't know if I ever got pulled from school for a sporting event, but I did for the Bozo show. Does that count? Absolutely. And I hope he doesn't mean this telecast.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You were? It was a run on the punchline bank.
Clown show? Yeah.
3-2 on Marsh.
Lopez charged with 7 runs. The starter 6 earned in his 4 innings.
Base hit. 10 hits for the Angels this afternoon.
To kick off Hispanic Heritage Month, the food guy is going in search of the classic Mexican dish, birria. Get the story behind a local family-run restaurant that was one of the first in the area to offer it tonight at 10 on NBC5. Angels batting average on balls in play pretty high today. Finding all the holes.
I'm reminded that our former friend KO met Chris Berman in high school, not in college. So we're now doing the corrections portion of the program. Call Jonathan Franzen. 0-1 for Fletcher. On the ground, burst, snares it. Who's going to cover? It's Hernandez, and it's a double play. Nifty. 1-4-3 on the Twin killing.
Finally something going right. Ball hit at the pitcher. Nicely turned.
Before every big matchup, there's hours of preparation. Behind every clutch punch-out, there's hundreds of reps. But it's worth it. I'm Lucas Giolito of the Chicago White Sox, and my dream lives here on MLB Network.
I love the Boys and Girls Clubs because they help you believe that you can make it to the big leagues.
Big leagues of what? Law. Art? Construction? Baseball?
How'd you guess?
For 25 years, Major League Baseball has partnered with the Boys and Girls Clubs of America to help kids make it to the big leagues of anything.
First started this Sox double play brought to you by Elgin Hyundai, home of the double warranty. 20 years, 200,000 miles on every new Hyundai. See ElginHyundai.com for details. Perfect throw to Hernandez. He and Tim were twins on the bag. Cesar took it. And that was it for the Angels in the 6th inning. And here is the first Halo reliever.
Junior Guerra, who made his big league debut with the White Sox. Back at in 2015, he was 30 years old when he debuted. He's now 36 and working for the 41st time. Had a good run with Milwaukee over the course of a few years.
Solid pandemic season with a 3.04 ERA with Mike Farron's Diamondbacks last year. One strike to Tim. It'll be Anderson, Robert, and Abreu here in the 6th on a blustery Thursday afternoon in Chicagoland. Ball and a strike to Tim Anderson. So Dylan Cease on the mound tomorrow against the Texas Rangers. Lance Lynn, Lucas Giolito Saturday and Sunday, and it was good to see Lucas's brother Casey in the ballpark last couple days.
Yeah, had a nice chat with him before the game last night.
A budding actor. Tim to right. That's a base hit. Might as well make it sting for the Angels on the way out and see what you can drum up in the final 12 outs.
Time now for our Xfinity mobile high-speed action. Alex Cobb making his first start since late July, coming back from the injured list. Right wrist issue, and his stuff was good from pitch number 1. You see all the movement on the sinker, the split, the breaking ball. Walked a couple, gave up 2 hits, but no damage on the big board in his 5 innings of work. And if the score holds up, he'll have a win against the White Sox for the first time in 5 career tries.
We'll see if wildness happens at some point in this final 4 innings. Check swing. He did go. Says Ben May over at first.
Kind of a 50-50 call, but he probably did.
That one is a wild pitch. Tim to second base. He's thinking about third. A little jog past second.
One big change this year, and it would have happened last year had the pandemic not hit. The September roster is capped at 28. Now, as part of that deal, the opening day rosters at 26 instead of 25. But the reason I mention that, you've got Tim Anderson in his second game back from the injured list. And as he singled here to lead off this sixth, I'm thinking, you know, it's the kind of day where almost like spring training, you get 6 innings in, you get 3 at bats, and with your team down big, you plug in the next guy to play shortstop. Well, you could do that. You move Cesar over to short, and that's possible, but it would have been a lot easier in previous years with a guy like Danny Mendick, who would be on this roster. If it were a 40-man situation in September, I think by and large managers and GMs like the change, as that ball will be caught in foul ground. But there probably will be a few spots during this month where a manager will say, yeah, I wish I had a few more players available.
Especially managers in the situation that Tony La Russa and Craig Counsell are in specifically, and managers who have veteran teams who are not in the playoff race.
Right. And again, I think there are ways to maneuver things here to get Tim off his feet for the final 3 innings if Tony wanted to. But it's trickier today with your bench than it would be in a normal September situation prior to 2020. Because right now, if you just look at what's left on the bench, it's Brian Goodwin, Yohan Moncada, and Yasmani Grandal, and 2 of those 3 guys are out of the lineup for a reason.
That's right. How would you do it?
Well, you probably move Hernandez to short. Hey, you put me on the spot. Yeah, with Leori coming out, and we assume he came out because of the score. Hopefully nothing happening with him.
Well, exactly what we're talking about is the value of Leori Garcia.
Yes.
Because when he comes out of a game,
that's right,
options are very limited.
And we could find out after the game it was Tim or Leori, and Tony decided, let's give Garcia a few innings off. Tim needs the work.
One. Abreu into right field. Tim's coming home and the shutout's over. Sox have their first run this afternoon.
Jose still looking for his 30th home run, but he has knocked in 108. And they're on the board for the first time.
That was a fastball. You watched Stassi behind the plate. He was thinking outside corner, and it kept running and running and running back to the middle of the plate. And Jose pounded it for an RBI single.
I would add one other name to your list mentioning Garcia, and it's not a name we would have said late in spring training or maybe even in late April. But Andrew Vaughn gives you options too, because he can play corner outfield spots, he can play third, first, and he's played some second base this year.
It's a good point.
And he's currently on the injured list.
There's young Andrew Vaughn in his rookie season after his debut against the Angels earlier this year. Good slider from Guerra. Oakland's got that 4-2 lead over Kansas City into the 6th. Other game going on is the Padres and the Giants. No score in the bottom of the 1st. Dodgers are creeping back up in that NL West race again. They are a game and a half behind after picking up a game last night. Two and two.
That's another question, and in a game like this, you can kind of wander around a little bit with the big baseball stories, but the Dodgers have clinched a playoff spot, so have the Giants. And I guess every fan's opinion can change on this. Does the difference between a division title and a wild card spot create drama for fans? I know it's a big deal for the teams involved to not be in the one and done, but I feel like psychologically, once you know your team's in it, it does lessen the drama part of it. So if you go down to the final day of the season, if it's wild card or division title, how much juice does that have in terms of interest from a fan base?
I would say it depends on the fan base right now, because there have not been enough teams in the wild card game. As Eloy cracks this to left field, and a long run for Wong to the warning track. Eloy's got himself a double, and the Sox have something cooking here in the 6th. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out.
Well, chance here for a crooked number, and if you do that, at least change Joe Maddon's thinking in terms of his bullpen usage in the final few innings, and you give yourself at least a fighting chance today.
What I was going to say about the wild card situation is, if your team has lost recently in a wild card game, you think it's a huge deal. If your team hasn't been in the wild card game and you haven't been into the playoffs in a while, you think we're glad we got in. But when more teams end up playing in the wild card in the one and done and have the scars of that, I think fans care more over the long term. That would be my instinct on that.
Go back to '93. The year before the wild card era began, the Atlanta Braves and the Giants. And the Giants won over 100 games and didn't get in. They didn't win the division.
That was the year, I believe, that the Braves traded for Fred McGriff at the deadline.
That sounds right.
And they just tore people up late in the year, as Gavin Sheets has walked twice. And he takes a strike with 2 on and 1 out in the 6th.
San Francisco Giants went 103 and 59 in 1993. And they did not make the postseason.
Yeah, it's not good for anybody. You love the race, but to not make the playoffs at 102, 103 wins, with the lay of the land now in terms of baseball and fandom, and wanting more teams to be involved down the stretch, I don't think we'll ever see that again. Check swing. Oh, he did go. Wow.
Well, you make the call at home. Again, a coin flip, and Pat Holberg rings him up, and it'll be up to Billy Hamilton just to play devil's advocate. Again, going back to the Giants and the Dodgers, you could have two teams with over 100 wins battling down to the final day. One gets in, one gets out. Does that create more regular season drama than both teams are in? Just a matter of wild card or division.
I agree with you completely about those teams, as this is foul behind the plate, and Stassi runs over, and he just got clipped by that barrier as well. And that will do it. That did not look fun. Sox leave a pair. We'll finish that conversation on the other side.
You didn't see me, but I was there. I've been part of every rivalry, every dynasty, every game, set, match. I've been on the backs of champions, smashed world records, and I was even there for your personal best. I am synthetic fabric, and I am made from crude oil.
Nerds! Have new money goals? NerdWallet can help you find the credit card to make them happen. Want to earn enough points for a weekend of fancy camping? We have options for that. Maybe have a better credit card than your older sister. We have comparison tools for that. Or find a card that lets you donate your cash back to food banks. We have tips for that too. From low rates to the best rewards, easily discover and compare the smartest credit cards. For all your money questions, turn to the nerds.
Marquette Bank since 1945. Marquette Bank has worked to improve the lives of neighbors, families, and business owners. They're a modern neighborhood bank with online banking, mobile banking, and digital home financing. Better than that, they're a bank that cares about your success and our communities. Discover neighborhood banking that feels good at emarquettebank.com.
And the new pitcher for the White Sox is Jose Ruiz. Jace Fry 1 inning, Ryan Burr 1 inning, and now Ruiz will try and give the Sox at least 3 outs worth. We have not seen him pitch since the first game of this series when he threw the 6th. We're talking about that wild card situation, and I'll just say the 7th inning is brought to you by the Illinois Department of Transportation. I was just going to say before that final out that yes, the drama is better between the Dodgers and Giants if you do have the division only on the line, but you wipe away so many other teams' playoff chances. I think that drama is the collateral damage on behalf of other teams being involved. So like total drama, you gain, but you lose drama between those two teams.
It's a fair point. I think there's also, another question of, let's say for now the Dodgers are the wild card with 102 wins. It's possible the team they could be playing has 83 wins. And yet with a 19-game advantage over the 6 months, the Dodgers could be ousted in 3 hours worth of baseball. Ohtani strikes out. Ruiz fans him.
Let me propose this to you. What if every game lead or every 6-game lead on a team that you have going into the playoffs got you an advantage in that postseason series?
I would be all for it.
So say you're up, you have 100 wins, and the team you're playing in the wild card game or in the division series has 85 wins. So you're automatically up 2-0.
Well, what I would say is you could do a little bit like College World Series and do the wild card 1 only needs to win 1, and the wild card 2 would have to win 2. But again, in a certain year, what if it's one team is 2 games better as opposed to 15?
Yeah. There are just more equitable ways, but you'd have to really tinker with a sport that is pretty cut and dried about its playoff format other than the addition of the wild card.
Right.
Somebody I want to say it was Sam Miller when he was writing for ESPN.com proposed this whole ladder format where the playoffs started in like August and you stop the regular season for the bottom 2 teams, right? And so like the Pirates would play the Diamondbacks or the Diamondbacks would play the Orioles, whatever it is right now. And then the winner of that series plays team number 28 at the time that series ends. So you like filter off the bottom and you make every team a playoff team, almost like an in-season tournament like they're talking about with the NBA, but it's the whole league that's involved, and the higher you are, the longer you play in the regular season, but the better chance you have.
Down to a knee goes Tim, and the throw eludes Gavin Sheets at the bag. Second error charged to Tim today.
His back foot on that throw didn't look like it was where he's sort of a little bit of a hitch, not because of injury, but just because the technique wasn't there for him.
Third error charged to the Sox, and here's Walsh. A walk, an infield single, an RBI hit, 2 runs. And he held, apparently. Well, the bottom line to all this conversation is it's very likely a 100-win team in the NL will be in the one-and-done situation.
I was going to say, if expansion did happen in Major League Baseball, and there have been rumblings of it, and you go to a 32 situation, and you talk about 4 4-team divisions in the American and the National League, you would have an entirely different playoff structure as well that's available for you.
Fastball strike, 1-2. Ten hits for the Angels. 2 of those have left the yard. And Hifo and Rojas with the home runs. It is possible the White Sox could finish the year as the only winning club in the American League Central. Cleveland 2 under, the Tigers 6 under the 500 mark. That'll go foul to left. Right now the Baltimore Orioles are 43.5 out in the East. But I think more remarkably, they are 35.5 out of 4th.
You don't think they're going to, is what you're saying. Adley Rutschman's going to show up next year, though, likely.
2-2. I don't know if a reverse order draft would change things with the teams that don't make the postseason. The idea of winning in September to increase draft position.
And broadly, it's all about incentives. What is smartest for your club to do in a situation like they are in, but you can't incentivize pride out of the equation.
Anderson down to a knee again, and they cannot turn it as Gonzalez's throw a little late. That's a 6-5 put out at the bag at second.
Tim had a little bit of trouble getting it out, and then Romy had to kick the bag with the back foot. And every half second mattered there. Sox only get the one.
Called strike on Rengifo. He had the go-ahead homer back in the second inning.
Rojas has homered today as well, part of that 5-run fourth for the Angels.
We'll see the Rangers coming up starting tomorrow night. Last in the West, 54-91. He played better ball of late.
Adolis Garcia is really fun to watch. He is a bright spot in an otherwise dark season for the Rangers.
Rangers have won 7 of their last 10. Dane Dunning made a start against the Sox early in the year. He's now pitching out of the Texas bullpen. Lance Lynn will get a start this weekend against his former team, and that'll be on Saturday evening. Traded away Kyle Gibson. Ian Kennedy, Joey Gallo. Well, that one kicks away from Zach. And it'll be a wild pitch on Ruiz.
Zach went to the backhand here and wasn't able to pick it. One of the guys they got, by the way, for Gibson and Kennedy, Spencer Howard, is the likely starter on Saturday against the Sox. Most of that rotation has been gotten via trade for the Rangers last couple of years.
Looks like Tim has a beat on it. And that'll do it. Stretch time 9-1. Angels in the 7th.
Nerds. Have new money goals? NerdWallet can help you find the mortgage lender to make them happen. Like getting a low rate on a downtown loft? We can help find the right lender. Or move out of the city since you're virtual now? We can find you loans for that. Want to refinance your home, free up cash, and redo your kitchen/home office? Yup, we've got tips for that too. Whether you refi or buy, easily discover and compare the smartest mortgage lenders. For all your money questions, turn to the nerds.
Hispanic Heritage Month by recognizing the contributions made to our game by the Latino baseball community past and present. Follow Las Mayores and at MLB and visit Las Mayores for full coverage. Great shirts. Saw people grabbing on the way into the ballpark.
Junior Guerra in his second inning of work. Fastball low on Romy Gonzalez. Romy is short for Roman. And a ground ball into right. Time now for a message for Powering Chicago.
Whether it's lighting up Chicago or helping a neighbor in need, Powering Chicago's commitment to better construction, better careers, and better communities never quits. Powering Chicago, IBEW Local 134, NECA, Chicago.
Here's Collins. So the Sox have a Sebi and a Romy, Sebastian and Roman. You could be Jace.
Taken. You want to be Lenny?
I've been that to some.
What about to you? Do you like Lenny?
It doesn't bother me.
It doesn't?
Not really.
Okay. So not really and it doesn't bother me are actually two different answers.
Inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Few people call me that. Not many.
I get my last name a lot. People call me Benetti a lot.
Yeah. It flows. 3-0.
Usually in some sort of rage. Do you get Casper a lot?
Sometimes. Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I think it depends on who the person is.
Really?
Yeah, sure. Zach is aboard. 2 on, nobody out. Tomorrow's season 3 premiere of Chicago Today. Ozzie Guillen joins Matt and Courtney on the golf course to show them how it's done. That's tomorrow at 11:30 on NBC5. There is action in the Angels bullpen. 2 on, no outs. Bottom 7. Looks like Liam Hendricks is going to get some work. He's throwing out in the White Sox bullpen. And you see Jimmy Herget, the right-hander for LA. Slider is inside. Rengifo behind the bag at second. And Stassi will walk the ball back to his pitcher. 2-0 on Cesar.
Yeah, you're not looking for 7 balls and 1 strike when you're up 9-1 in the 7th. It's pretty well last on the list there, Lenny.
Have you been dubbed with any other nicknames? JB?
Yeah, so JB every once in a while.
That's a strike.
I did have a bus of basketball players call me McLovin for a while.
Okay.
Yep. Super nice. Thanks to them.
Super bad, right?
Yeah, it was actually super bad. Some people just shorten it to the first letter. They call me J.
Pretty common.
Can I just call you L?
Of course. If you'd like.
You're okay with anything. You just go with the flow.
You're trying to get under my skin. It's not going to happen.
See about that.
Just a bit low. It's full. Garrett thought it was strike 3. Well, September shadows come in a little earlier in the afternoon, reaching home plate. They're around 3:30 local time. Outside, he walked him, and the bases are loaded.
I bet it's getting a little tense there in the mind of Joe Madden. 9-1, but a couple swings away from some real angst in the Angel dugout, and that's going to be it for Guerra, who allowed 6 base runners in 9 hitters.
He wants Herget. Don't go anywhere. Bases loaded, nobody out.
Imagine a world where we have the tools to sell things that mean something, like a sunscreen made for melanated skin that blends in. Prove that things don't have to be the way that they've always been. The world's been waiting for what you do.
I'm Lorenzo Cain, and you can catch me robbing home runs on MLB Tonight.
I'm Bill Ripken, and you can catch me talking about those robbed home runs on MLB Tonight.
MLB Tonight, where baseball's best players are side by side with TV's best baseball analysts.
Putting out the fire, that's what I live for. Coming in when the pressure's high, pretty intense. But I welcome the opportunity. To seal the deal and get that W for your team, that's what I dream about. Closing out games in October for the Brew Crew is my focus. And I'll keep pushing to make it happen. I'm Josh Hader of the Milwaukee Brewers, and my dream lives here on MLB Network.
Call to the pen, Lakeside Bank. It's about time. And after Junior Guerra struggled through 3 batters here this inning, it's Jimmy Herget for the 2nd time in this series. We saw him come in yesterday to throw 1 inning and give up a run. Jose Abreu with a double against him, and then he came home on an RBI single 1 batter later. So Herget will face Anderson, Robert, and Abreu. And Len, it's 9-1, but it might not be real soon.
Yeah, long way to go in terms of 8 runs down, but with the bases loaded, nobody out, top of the order here. Let's see if they can do some damage. It's like Herget's going to work out of the windup. And Anderson takes a bender for a strike on the outside edge. Swing and a miss. Slider makes it 0-2. Wong plays deep in left off the line. Infield back, and he struck him out on a foul tip. Changed the arm angle, and that's the first out.
Slider, 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 and that was a real good one. Started the strike, left the strike zone 3/4 of the way through, and a big first out for Herget.
That brings up Luis Robert, 0 for 3. Swing and a miss. Luis came in hitting .419 over his previous 10 games. Deep breath by the right-hander. Boy, he has come in and thrown nothing but strikes. Not every pitch has been in the zone, but 5 pitches and 5 strikes.
Slider, 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 a handful of sliders. And you'd have to assume another one's coming here.
Sinker missed the mark, and it's 1-2. They loaded the bases against Guerra before he was lifted.
That's a real slow breaking ball he threw right there. It just cleared 70 up in the zone. The location wasn't grand, but the pace looked like it affected Robert.
The pitchers of record, the starters Cobb and Lopez. Stassi dealing with some sort of flying insect.
Looked like Conroy, the plate umpire, was trying to eject the insect.
Largest crowd of the series today, 27,098. Enjoying the weather, and they'd like to see some runs here. Inside miss. And it's 2-2 on Luis Robert. Bases loaded, 1 out. Walsh is over and no play.
Join us at Guaranteed Rate Field Wednesday, September 29th. It's the Sox and the Reds, 7:10 p.m. First 10,000 fans get a Pride Night t-shirt presented by BMO. Visit whitesox.com to purchase your tickets today.
Final homestand. Reds for 2, Tigers for 3. And then postseason action, hopefully. That is into right for a base hit. Everybody moves up 1. Little soft serve base hit. It's 9-2. They're still loaded, and here comes Jose.
That wedge just checked up on the green beautifully for Robert. Watch this thing bounce as it lands if we get a look at it. That was out of the strike zone. And Luis just plunks it down into short right.
Good effort by Walsh. Just couldn't quite get up high enough. Now Abreu. One ball and no strikes. Here it comes, and it's low. 2-0. Very patient Jose in this series. Really on the entire homestand. As he has walked 6 times. Including 3 times in one game. And 0 with Eloy on deck.
I don't know, Len. There's been some witchcraft in this ballpark this year. There's been some late amusement and late oddity. When the crowd gets behind this team, it's a good prelude for the playoffs and late innings at home.
Guessing Jose in full take mode here. And it's a strike. Good spot here. And he taps it foul. That's a good result. That's the kind of pitch and location that ends up a double play ball. Typically.
I'd bet slider here. He's thrown him a couple of fastballs in a row. He shook once.
In the air to center. This will get Collins home. Marsh will make the grab, and his throw is going to go toward third. And it's a sac fly for Abreu, his second RBI today. It's 9-3. They asked Herget, that's probably a win for him with this big lead. Certainly is for Joe Madden after a 3-0 start to that count, and it'll be up to Jimenez. And Lloyd doubled his last time up. Hernandez now at third, Robert at first. And pulled to left, and it is foul. Pretty much knew it was foul right off the bat because Eloy stayed in the box. One strike. If the White Sox truly are going to come back in this game, feels like they need one more big hit here in this seventh. Close the gap to 4 or 5. Good slider, 0-2.
You see the difference of Herget when he's in a favorable count and when he's not. He got behind Jose and he had to pepper him with fastballs. Now you're really in a pinch here with that very good slider that he has dance off the outside to right-handers.
And the pitch is outside, and we're going to have a little bit of a delay here. I think Herget wondering if that pitch should have counted. Time had not been called as a fan had gotten onto the field, so it should be 1-2 on Jimenez.
I have not seen a situation like that ever in my baseball existence in person, where there's been a fan on the field as the pitch is coming. That is highly dangerous. And so that's the discussion here. Does the pitch count? As a public service announcement, if you go on the field, you're not going to spend the night at home.
Yeah, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. It really is not worth it.
No.
And it's kind of annoying trying to play a big league game. 1-2 on Jimenez. Runners at first and third with 2 outs. 2 runs home here for the Sox. That was a pretty hittable location on that fastball, and he got away with it. 1-2 count holding. He struck him out on the slider. Sox get 2. They're down 9-3 after 7.
Putting out the fire. That's what I live for. Coming in when the pressure's high, pretty intense. but I welcome the opportunity. To seal the deal and get that W for your team, that's what I dream about. Closing out games in October for the Brew Crew is my focus, and I'll keep pushing to make it happen. I'm Josh Hader of the Milwaukee Brewers, and my dream lives here on MLB Network.
Every time he takes the field, he competes not only against the other team, but against the toughest adversary, himself. MLB Tonight, where the best outdo their best on MLB Network.
By Volkswagen. Got a long last road trip, 3 cities: Arlington, Detroit, Cleveland, 3 in Texas, 3 in Michigan, and then a 5-game series near Lake Erie. It's a doubleheader of the split variety. A week from today, night games Friday, Saturday, and then a day game Sunday before the Sox head home for the final week. Hopefully a clinch somewhere on that graphic as well.
Liam Hendriks is on to throw the 8th inning today, so we'll see what Tony does for the 9th here. Liam just needs a day, as Mayfield, Rojas, and Wong will be the batters, but we have not seen Liam Hendriks since the Boston series. And so he will throw this 8th inning. I would imagine only 1 inning, but we'll see.
Mayfield with arguably the biggest hit of the day, the bases clearing double in the 4th inning. And a big cut and a miss on a fastball. The 8th inning is brought to you by the Illinois Lottery.
We've been doing this podcast weekly, and I mentioned this the other day, but with you here, I think my favorite thing that's been said on Sox Degrees all season is that Liam Hendriks, while going to bed at night, watches the same episode of Bones over and over again.
Not the same show, the same episode.
There's one, they go to Canada, and he knows like the first 10 minutes, then he falls asleep to Bones.
It's pretty awesome.
He's an interesting fella.
Yeah, he is. Swing and a miss on a slider.
We didn't even need him mic'd up to hear that one. Came all the way up here. Sox fans, don't miss out on your chance to dine with Bo Jackson. Lunch with the Sox Monday, September 20th, this coming Monday at Guaranteed Rate Field. The event is a seated luncheon and moderated conversation with Bo, as well as the opportunity to meet the legendary two-sport guy himself, Bo Jackson. For tickets and more info, go to whitesox.com/lunch.
Rojas 2 for 3 back in the big leagues and hit a 2-run homer in the 4th. You might come up with a new game called Is It a Luncheon?
Oh, it's a little more formal than Is It Lunch?
Yeah.
This is what you do. You create a new hashtag, and now I deal with it. Although you'll be in tomorrow with Stoney.
From Texas, brand new ballpark. Well, somewhat new.
We are very excited to be on the road for at least a portion of this upcoming road trip.
Foul strike.
Uncle Len, what's it like on the road? No, it'll be great to see you. Great to be there. I already had a commitment for tomorrow when it was decided to go on the road, but it'll be great to see you Saturday, Sunday. You'll be over doing radio. Stoney and I will have the road trip, and it'll be a pleasure to be back with the team. We are very excited about it and thankful that NBC Sports Chicago has made that choice.
And as we said, hopefully a clinching game coming up within the next few days. Two count on Jose Rojas. One more strikeout and Liam can do something that's never been done before in White Sox history, a 30-save, 100 strikeout season. Nearly had it right there.
You think he'll get it?
Yeah, I do. Nine to 3 Angels. We're in the 8th. Here it comes. There it is. Number 100 on the year for the All-Star.
He has been so important for this team this year to know, and yes, he's had a couple of games that he'd rather have back, but to know that you're going to get the stuff that he has on a nightly basis for the final 3 outs, typically, it's a luxury.
100 strikeouts and 7 walks.
That's unreal.
And if he can finish the year with those walks in single digits, that's pretty rare too. Down the line and off that side net. Nice catch by Eloy on the carom, but unfortunately it doesn't count as an out.
In racquetball, it's something, right? Yeah, Kenley Jansen's the only guy to have the numbers you were talking about with Hendricks, with fewer than 10 walks for the year, 30 saves, 100 strikeouts.
And one of those 7 walks was intentional. Swing and a miss. So Liam pumped up. He just struck out the side. Getting an inning of work in today. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's 9-3 Angels.
Before every big matchup, there's hours of preparation. Behind every clutch punch-out, there's hundreds of reps. But it's worth it. I'm Lucas Giolito of the Chicago White Sox, and my dream lives here on MLB Network. Hey Al, I'm just wondering, during the demo on MLB Tonight, what was that meatball you threw?
Meatball? I think you're misunderstanding. That was a hitting demonstration, and that's what I was supposed to do.
Oh, he got home, baby.
Right. I think that ball's still traveling. Any farther, and you need a flight plan for it.
Next question.
The Analyst of MLB Tonight, answering baseball's toughest questions, only on MLB Network.
I love the Boys and Girls Clubs because they help you believe that you can make it to the big leagues.
Big leagues of what? Law. Art. Construction. Baseball.
How'd you guess?
For 25 years, Major League Baseball has partnered with the Boys and Girls Clubs of America to help kids make it to the big leagues of anything.
coverage cam on a glorious weather day here at the ballpark in September.
What is that? I want one of those.
It'll make your tongue blue.
It's got my favorite 2 ingredients: soft serve and blue. Everybody's got one.
New pitcher for the Angels, Mike Myers. He got the win in the game last night. Scoreless 7, struck out the side. Works in the 8th with a 6-run lead here today. 1 strike on Gavin Sheets. Way up in the air. Looks like Marsh, the center fielder, will take it, and he does. Mark Carman, along with Ozzie and Frank, with a preview of Postgame Live presented by Subaru. Thanks, fellas.
I like cryptic Ozzie. He's learned the art of the tease.
Yeah, you don't give away your best stuff before the actual show.
I quite frequently use my best stuff after the game.
1-1 on Billy Hamilton. Mike Wright is up in the White Sox bullpen. Slider missed away. Juan Lagares is now in right. Fly ball out into short left, and it'll drop down in front of Wong.
Hey, parents, visit the Xfinity Kids Zone overlooking left field and have your future major leaguer test their pitching, batting, and base running skills with White Sox youth coaches. While you're there, check out how Xfinity keeps you connected to the White Sox no matter where you watch. Xfinity, the fastest internet in Chicago.
So blue pit for Hamilton. And Gonzalez looks at a strike. Late swing that time. Set up for 2 around the infield. Long hold by Myers. Here it comes, and a foul over the backstop. Back of the plate.
Well, look, this day in 1926, the Cardinals scored 12 times in the 3rd inning at the old Baker Bowl.
Philadelphia,
which burned down like 3 times, right?
Romy swings and misses for strike 3. Is that all you got? 12 run 3rd?
Yeah, it was a 23-3 final score.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't exactly the comeback that we're looking for here in the White Sox affair today, but it can happen. Remember, the Indians against the Mariners on Sunday Night Baseball years ago.
I want to say it was 14-2.
Something like that.
I know it was 15-14.
Einar Diaz had a big hit.
Awkward swing and a miss by Collins. Zach has been on twice, single and a walk, scored a run in the 7th. If they don't come back, it'll be a 3-3 homestand. And the Sox would love to finish above 500 on the road. They'll start their final 11-game trip 2 games under 500 away from home, 34-36. So they would need to go 7-4 to have a winning road record. Doable, but not easy to do that on the road no matter where you play.
We gotta ask Zach, do you know the story behind Rusty on his armband?
I don't.
We gotta ask him now that he's back. Somebody think he looks like the kid from Vacation?
He strikes out swinging. Could be. And we go to the 9th. 9-3 Angels.
Moose could have told you.
I love the Boys and Girls Clubs because they help you believe that you can make it to the big leagues.
Big leagues of what? Law. Art. Construction. Baseball.
How'd you guess?
For 25 years, Major League Baseball has partnered with the Boys and Girls Clubs of America to help kids make it to the big leagues of anything.
Before every big hit, there's hours in the cage. Behind every big fly, there's hundreds of reps. It's worth it, because a chance to play in October is every kid's dream. That's really what it's all about. What keeps that fire burning, what pushes me to be better. The Sox are coming for you. Let's get it. I'm Tim Anderson of the Chicago White Sox, and my dream lives here on MLB Network.
To you by Guaranteed Rate. 9-3 Angels lead. Mike Wright is on here in the 9th inning with his team down a bunch.
And he will face top of the order in Marsh and Fletcher and Ohtani, the scheduled hitters for the Angels. Sox are down 9-3, but there's still time to dance. Always at the ballpark. Time for nachos, time to dance. There's no limit dancing. Marsh is 1 for 4 in the game. He's got 5 hits in this series. He was promoted to the leadoff spot in this game by Joe Madden, whose team is threatening to go to 72 and 74. And you wonder what might have been had they stayed healthy. Some people thought that we might be saying that same thing about the White Sox. We wonder what they might have been had they stayed healthy. And this team stayed afloat with substantial injury trouble here in 2021. And this game, unless the Sox come back, will go into a very short ego contusion. And then tomorrow, do it again against the Texas Rangers of lovely Arlington. Marsh to left Eloy Jimenez basking in the sun for round number 1. It's a 7:05 start time tomorrow from Globe Life Field. Then 6:05 on Saturday, 1:35 on Sunday. With the loss today, the earliest the Sox could clinch would be Detroit. The Yankees are hosting Cleveland over the weekend, so it's a tough series for the Indians. They will face Garrett Cole on Saturday. Sunday, I should say. Garrett Cole on Sunday. I scrolled too far on the old app. Tim stalks this one. Fletcher is out on 5 balls in play today. 2 down. One last ride for Ohtani here in front of the Chicago fans this year.
2 hits in the series, both infield singles, and both coming today.
MVP Shohei Ohtani, very likely. There's no way Guerrero catches him, right?
I don't think so. Some people say his batting average will be a problem, but he gets on base a ton. I wouldn't worry about that.
I think voters are different now. I think we've passed that threshold, haven't we?
Yeah. I mean, he's hitting .256, but his on base average about .360, and slugging almost .600. Possibly could hit 50 home runs. That should do it, with the pitching on top of it. I mean, it's like a good carrot cake. Without the frosting, it's really good. But then you add the cream cheese frosting. I mean, that takes it next level. And I would say his pitching is that cream cheese frosting.
I did not realize you were such a carrot cake guy.
Oh yeah. See, Guerrero, as good as his carrot cake is, there's no frosting.
But think about the person who made the last carrot cake without frosting in history. There was a person who had the best carrot cake in town, and there had never been frosting on carrot cake before. That person comes wandering in and says, "You got to try my carrot cake."
Yeah, but when's the last time you had fried chicken that wasn't breaded?
Now those are 2 inside in a row on Ohtani.
Yeah.
And the umpires, it's a new rule here. On situations like that, they have to come together and talk it over. That's the mechanic. So Ohtani's going to first. And they're going to throw out Mike Wright.
And Tony will want an explanation for sure.
So now the Angels, you think back to the 8th inning on Tuesday night. Jose Abreu got hit. Tony La Russa was quite unhappy. Jose was unhappy. That's 2 in a row at Ohtani.
Got him on the back of the leg. And I think we might have reached the position player stage. This was Tuesday, and Jose's been hit, what, 19 times now? And that one really stung.
That was the one where Jose said, "Why?" over at first base.
Tony's starting to get a little more animated.
And away he goes. Tony La Russa ejected. I think Tony's asking, where's the warning? The chant is Tony.
Well, we'll get a pitching change coming here. We're not sure who it'll be, but we'll tell you when we come back.
Could be Len.
Before every big hit, there's hours in the cage. Behind every big fly, there's hundreds of reps. It's worth it, because the chance to play in October is every kid's dream. That's really what it's all about. What keeps that fire burning, what pushes me to be better. The Sox are coming for you. Let's get it. I'm Tim Madison of the Chicago White Sox, and my dream lives here on MLB Network.
Hey Al, I'm just wondering, during the demo on MLB Tonight, what was that meatball you threw?
Meatball? I think you're misunderstanding. That was a hitting demonstration, and that's what I was supposed to do.
Oh, he got home, baby.
Right. I think that ball's still traveling. Any farther and you need a flight plan for it.
Next question.
The Analyst of MLB Tonight, answering baseball's toughest questions. Only on MLB Network.
The ballpark is better when we're all here together. COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective. Join the team and help us all get back to doing what we love together.
Here, Tony ejected. The White Sox need a pitcher to finish this ninth inning. There are 2 outs, a runner at first. You see Kurt Hassler on the phone with Shelley Duncan. I think it's going to be Romy Gonzalez, as Ethan Katz just went out and I think asked the infielders, anybody want to pitch?
So Romy's going to give up his sunglasses and take the ball here. That was the world's longest conversation on a bullpen phone. That was like an entire scene of a play on Broadway. Romy Gonzalez goes to the mound, and he will throw. The major league rookie will have as many, I don't even know what this phrase means in this circumstance, as many as he needs. After the ejection of Mike Wright for hitting Shohei Ohtani on 2 pitches inside at Ohtani.
And somebody will have to come in and replace him at third base. I'm looking down in the dugout. Looks like Moncada does not have his spikes on.
Toss Yaz out there. Brian Goodwin, Moncada, and Yasmani Grandal are the only options down there. Miguel Cairo and Jerry Narin and Shelley Duncan. And let's see if
so Jose, the DH, is going to come out and play third. Why not?
So the Sox will burn the DH, and Jose Abreu, professional third baseman, graces us with his presence.
This will be the first time in his major league career he has played anywhere other than first base on defense. And he takes ground balls over there on the left side. In fact, last night before the game, he was taking grounders at short.
And watching him, he's a slick mover. He will be fine if this third out of the ninth inning goes his direction.
According to Baseball Reference, in Cuba professionally, he only played first base as well. This is likely the only time he's been a left side infielder as a pro.
Romy Gonzalez has not pitched in his minor league career, but he buzzes in 76 for strike 1 to Stassi. Romy did not shake off Zach Collins, notably. And this is fouled away, 1-2.
I think the biggest note, two notes here. Make sure you come set in the stretch and be ready to field your position.
Yes.
Cannot relax when you let go of the baseball.
It's a little closer than third base is typically. And he struck him out. Romy Gonzalez, if this is the last time he throws, he's 1 for 1 with a strikeout on the mound.
Putting out the fire, that's what I live for. Coming in when the pressure's high, pretty intense, but I welcome the opportunity. To seal the deal and get that W for your team, that's what I dream about. Closing out games in October for the Brew Crew is my focus, and I'll keep pushing to make it happen. I'm Josh Hader of the Milwaukee Brewers, and my dream lives here on MLB Network.
I love the Boys and Girls Clubs because they help you believe that you can make it to the big leagues.
Big leagues of what? Law. Art? Construction? Baseball?
How'd you guess?
For 25 years, Major League Baseball has partnered with the Boys and Girls Clubs of America to help kids make it to the big leagues of anything.
Against a team that's got a bunch of right-handers.
Relax and watch High Heat with Christopher Russo, only on MLB Network.
This ball game, Romy Gonzalez has pitched to a strikeout in his first ever trip to the mound. There have been two fans who've run on the field, and that is always a horrible decision by the fan. And now we have in right center, where the fan entered the field, we have a broken yellow line. So somebody's going to have to fix the yellow line, because that is a hazard.
Should be a quick fix.
I love the fan help. See, that's how you do it as a fan. There are so many people here who are wanting to watch baseball and have a great time and, you know, not run on the field like a dope. Let's celebrate them, like that gentleman who just helped fix the yellow line. Thank you, sir, for your assistance.
It's Oliver Ortega, a right-hander who will try to get the final 3 outs. This will be his 4th appearance. Recently made his big league debut, and he came on and worked in the game on Tuesday. An inning and a third, and charged with 2 runs.
I'm just going to say this too. We have enough injuries to Major League Baseball players that no matter who it is, what star it is, I'm never in favor of throwing at people for whatever reason. And if the Angels did it early in the series, I'm not in favor of that. And if the Sox did it late in the series, I'm not in favor of that. Let's keep the stars on the field and have a good old time watching baseball instead of watching the injured list. All right, Ortega against Hernandez, Anderson, and Robert. One ball, one strike. And now the crowd reacts to a ball inside on Hernandez. It was indifferent.
Based on what we saw, it looked like Wright was ejected, but warnings were not officially issued.
And that was Tony's issue.
You don't have, right, you technically don't have to issue a warning. So it can get a little nebulous. So according to the plan that the White Sox have had for Tim Anderson, he'll be out of the lineup for the opener tomorrow night in Texas and should be back in there on Saturday for game 2.
Strike to TA, who's got a hit in the 6th. Well, Well, this will likely be our last game together of this season, barring something unforeseen happening, although something unforeseen happening is basically every day since March of 2020 in our world. So we'll offer a cautious thank you for sharing these games with me, and thank you for playing. Thank you for coming here in the off season, and thank you for how wonderful of an addition you are to the press box up here.
I appreciate that very much, and we get to work together on Sox Degrees, the White Sox official podcast. That'll continue. And it's been fun playing musical chairs here of late.
Yeah, I'm sorry I forced your hand in the musical chairs a couple of weeks ago when I fell ill with COVID. I didn't mean to.
Well, I don't think anybody means to.
I wish I hadn't. But thank you for filling in.
Of course.
It was enjoyable to watch you and Steve from my couch doing nothing. Strike 3, 2 down, and Luis Robert coming up. No, it's been a pleasure getting to call games with you. I was actually going back through some photos from years and years ago, and there was a Sox-Cubs game. Hawk was still doing games in 2017. There was a Sox-Cubs game ESPN assigned to me, and I was with David Ross and Rick Sutcliffe. And I came over into your booth. We took a picture together in this very ballpark.
How about that? That's right.
Here we are, wearing basically matching blue NBC Sports Chicago polo shirts for eternity. The strike to Luis Robert. Today did not go as planned, but the Sox still do have one more homestand remaining. The Reds for 2 games the last week of September, then into October with 3 against the Tigers, and we hope to see you around here. If you're in the stands and you're so inclined, people do this every once in a while. They take the sort of surreptitious pictures of us in the booth. People will do that from like row 30. And we're like grainy and far away, which is the way we're best experienced.
And hopefully we're framed well and not snoozing or something in the pregame.
That'll happen. To third. Fair ball. Mayfield across the diamond. Save. Robert beats it out.
Boy, he wanted that hit. 9-3 they trail, but he was busting it down the first base line, sniffing out an infield single.
Not a bad effort from Mayfield here. So now Abreu, who's driven in a pair today. I just hope this is an at-bat without any stuff. I don't believe it would involve any stuff, but let's just get through this at-bat as there's a strike to Abreu. He's been hit enough this year. Sox magic number with a loss today would stay at 7 going to Texas. Ball and a strike. 2-1.
Weird to say, 9-3 game, but the Sox actually had a chance to get back in this game in the 7th. They put up 2, but they had the bases loaded with nobody out. If they could have scored maybe 4 or 5, they would have given themselves a fighting chance.
2-1 is in, 2-2. Yeah, there were a couple at bats, and Abreu did drive in a run, but he was hoping to do more damage. It was a sac fly for the second out against Herget.
And it was 3-0 to start that at bat.
Yeah.
Eventually worked to a full count.
2-2. Tapper back to the mound. Ortega. That's the final out. And the Angels win the series 2-1, Len.
Well, off to Texas, and hopefully sometime early next week in Detroit, the White Sox can clinch a division.
Enjoy the plane ride. I will see you on Saturday, and you and Stoney have a great show tomorrow.
Safe travels, my man.
Thank you. I will bring you a hot brown from Louisville or something.
You got it, Benetti.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Lenny. Sox fall 9-3 final score. We say farewell for our producer, Chris Withers, our director, Andrew Blaustein, our associate producer, Chris Kampka, and our entire wonderful crew. For Joe Grube, our stage manager, he's Len Casper. I'm Jason Benetti. Good night from Guaranteed Rate Field. Carm, Ozzie, and Frank, take it away.